Today on Newsmakers, we're talking politics with Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, and we're here at the historic 18th and Vine American Jazz Museum. I'm your host, Carrie Coogan. Thank you so much for being here. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah, good to
How
be
are
here.
you doing? How's your summer going?
It's very hot. It's hot in Washington, although after having the worst winter in history on record, Washington is now having springtime in the middle of the summer in terms of the rainfall. It's weird. There's clearly something going on with the weather.
Well, it seems like there's so much going on in Washington. We don't have enough time to talk about everything, but I wanted to start with the importance of passing a new minimum wage and equal pay issues. I know that's a big concern of yours. What's going on and why?
Well, the minimum wage started out in 1938 at 25 cents an hour. It's a big deal for FDR to get through. It was in response to the Depression, of course. And if you look at the fact that it's $7.25, means that it has risen $7 since 1938. You can't find anything else that has risen only $7 since 1938. Nothing. So that alone would give cause to raise the minimum wage. The current proposal is $10.25, although some states like California are actually moving beyond what the federal government is trying to implement. It's a difficult deal because some of the major corporations oppose it, and Washington is flooded with lobbyists. For example, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, when it was running, we had at one point 8 lobbyists per member. So it's difficult to get something like that approved, but I think we've got to continue to work on it, and I'm one of those who will.
Are you surprised that it's caused this much controversy?
Yes, I thought that everybody realized that $7.25 would not generate a living wage. We have people who work 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, who are still making under $20,000 if they're making minimum wage. And it's difficult to live in the United States of America under $20,000 a year. And so if you're earning that kind of salary, you still qualify for food stamps and other federal assistance. And so major corporations can't condemn and criticize people on one hand for taking some kind of federal assistance while paying them a $7.25 an hour wage. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to have the kind of U.S. economy and the participation that we need by all of its citizens in that economy until we raise the minimum wage.
Real quick, I want to ask you about the World War I Museum and Monument, the redesignation. Why is that such a great thing?
Well, like me, probably most people from this area had no idea that there is no World War I monument in Washington, D.C. I mean, we have all of the monuments of all of the wars in Washington except World War I. There is a World War I monument in Washington, but it was constructed by the city of Washington, not the federal government. So it's not on the federal mall. And when you compare what we've done in Kansas City with the 300 other World War I monuments, some places they just have a plaque in the ground and so forth, nothing is as majestic as the Liberty Memorial. Nothing rises from the ground on top of one of the hills above the skyline like Kansas City. And so we were successful in getting Kansas City designated as the World War I museum and memorial for the whole world. I mean, in the sense that this is the United States.
There's so much going on in the world right now. What keeps you up at night?
Well, I'm afraid that some of the rebels in Ukraine or maybe even in Iraq will get control of some nuclear fission or even a complete weapon. You remember, all that area was owned by and held by the Soviet Union, the old Soviet Union. And so we believe that most of the nuclear weapons were removed and taken to Russia, but that may not be the case. There are rumors that pop up from time to time that's happened. And you can imagine with what could happen with some lunatic who takes over power in one of these small countries, or somebody who's considers him or herself, divinely inspired to change the world, and they would stop at nothing to get control of the world, including nuclear explosion.
Well, that's all the time we have, unfortunately. We need much more time to talk about these things. But thank you so much for your public service and all you do for the nation and for Kansas City. We really appreciate it.
It's good to be with you. Thank you.
That's all the time we have for Newsmakers, and we'll see you back here next time.